Welcome to MonoDesk. In this little series of tutorials, I'm going to walk you through how to navigate MonoDesk, how to work your way through the clients, the projects, and the planner, and also how to use the AI agent to supercharge your admin workflow, which means getting that out of the way quickly so you can get back to the fun stuff, which is the creative. So on the left here, we've got our agent, we've got our clients, we've got our projects, and we've got our planner. Let's start off where everything starts, the clients. So as you can see, the clients section puts your work front and center, makes everything that you do look nice and beautiful, as it should be. So the easiest way to add a client here is to click the Add Client button, and then we simply have to search what we're working on. So I'm working on a brief from Olipop at the moment, and let's add that in. And this little agent here goes and fetches all of that data from the client's website. It puts in as much as it can to start filling out your client card, including some nice imagery and logos and things like that, so you don't have to spend hours popping all of this information in. You, of course, then pop in your key contacts and their emails and bits and pieces like that, but this is a really good jumping off point to get into the work really quickly. The fun thing is as well that you get to click on this and change bits and pieces that it's pulled from the client website. So let's change those logos there and we'll move our colors around. There we go, that looks beautiful. So that's the quick way to add clients to MonoDesk. Then of course, moving on from clients, we've got projects, and the quickest way to add a project is to add the new project here. So let's say we want to work on packaging a redesign for that client, and we go ahead and we choose our Olipop clients that we've just added in. And that's going to be a graphic design project. Here we go, create project, and that's done. That takes us here to our Kanban board, which is really simple here in MonoDesk to do, doing done. You can, of course, change the titles of those if you want something else, but we really thought to do, doing done is a really good way to break down your tasks. So to get started here, we can simply add a task. So let's do some competitor research. We'll add that in, and we can click into that there and add a whole bunch of different things. So check out some designs for Olipop competitors there. We can also add subtasks. So let's do list of competitors. Let's also look at competitor colors. We can also add comments in here. So I might use this for reminders for this specific task. So check out Remedy Drinks as a competitor specifically that I want to look at. We can easily move those subtasks around if we want to change the order of hierarchy, and we can also check those off when we're done, which will then show you your progress for that card, which is really good. At the moment we're in to do, we can also move this to doing from here, and you can see in the background it's moved over to doing, and then from here we can also schedule. So let's say we want this to happen next Monday, and the estimated time it's going to take us probably 2 hours. So we've added that to our schedule, and there's nothing you need to do in terms of saving now. That's just automatically over in the planner. So that's as good a jumping off point as any to go over to the planner. So here we have the planner, and on the left here, you can see all of our unscheduled tasks that appear in our other projects. You can collapse that if you don't want to see them. And let's jump forward to next week when we had that competitor research that we popped in for our packaging redesign here. And you can see it's popped in 2 hours for us within this day. Now let's say something's come up and we just need to move it to Tuesday. Easy, drag and drop, done. And you can see here that's reflected over on the task card here, which is exactly the same in the planner as it is in the projects level. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't like to work on my weekends, even as a dutiful freelancer, so you can hide your weekends there. We can also switch from week view to day view to see that there, and month view as well to get a broader overview of where we're at. The other great thing about the planner is that you can add tasks directly from this view. I don't have to go back into my projects. So let's say on Thursday, we want to add a task in for our brand that we're working on, Fishwife, and we've got some packaging design here as well. Let's add a title in here. Let's just say deliver color options to client. We'll add that in. And then of course we can just click into there and add all of the same details that we would be able to do over in the projects area. So if I go to that projects area, I find the Fishwife packaging. Let's find here, deliver color options to client. Simple. So the final part of the puzzle here is the agent, which we can find over in the nav bar on the left, and it's going to ask us what's on our creative mind. So let's jump into our map project here and say, where are we at with this? So the assistant here has full context over your projects, your planner, and your clients. So you can ask it to tell you where you're at with things like this. You can ask it to add tasks to projects. You can get it to analyze a brief. There's lots that you can do with the agent. And as you can see, it's come back here with that we're in planning on the product campaign. We've got 8 open tasks with 0 completed. We're doing 3 at the moment, and there's still 5 to do. So let's see the 5 to do tasks. All right, so those 5 to do tasks are sitting in our unscheduled tasks within our project. So simply we can get the agent here to schedule those tasks. There's already some times allocated here. So we can do schedule these tasks. And then I'm also gonna ask it to schedule based off some other projects that we're working on as well to make sure that we're not gonna double up over in our planner because, you know, we can only do so much work. It'll give you a nice little indication of what it's working on at the time. It's got this little to-do list down there. So it's checking our current workload, which is what I was just mentioning. And then it's going to plan those dates and apply the schedule. So there we go. We can see we've got a lot of work to do for this campaign next week. So let's just check that in the schedule here. And finally, we can check it out in the planner. So you can see there the agent has a bunch of great canned responses, but you can obviously type anything that you want to type in. So the agent doesn't just live over on the left-hand side here in the nav bar, it's always sitting peacefully down in the bottom right-hand corner, ready to help you out wherever you are on MonoDesk. And it can also help you navigate MonoDesk as well. So jump to Fishwife project. And I can see here, I don't have any time allocated to these tasks in my to-do list. So let's just get the agent to add some time to this and then get it scheduled for next week because we know we've got a busy week coming up. We know we need to smash through this work. So I've just said, can you allocate some time to these tasks and then schedule them for next week, taking into account the other work I have on for map. And you'll see just on the left here in the to-do column, those tasks now have time allocated to them. And these are indicative times that are typical of these types of tasks within this type of workflow. Of course, you can tailor that to how quick you work as well. So if you're much faster than 3 hours for die-line and print ready files, then go ahead and put 1 hour. So let's go ahead and schedule the remaining map tasks so we can then jump back to our planner, see what we're working on for next week and get into it. And sometimes you want to go old school. So let's collapse our agent there. We can go back over to our planner. We can see next week, we've got a lot of work to do. So we can now see that we have over allocated ourselves for Wednesday. It's going to be pretty busy. Let's just focus on the graphic design and artwork for the product campaign for map there. No point in doing the mock-ups and presentation on the same day. So let's move that to Thursday. We can push that label design out to Friday as well. And now things are looking nice and neat. So that's the basics of navigating MonoDesk. You now know how to set up a client from scratch, add projects, add tasks to your projects, and then schedule them through your day, your week, and your month. You also now know how to use the agent to your advantage to get the admin out of your way super quickly so you can get back to the fun stuff, which is the creative.